gonna set your place on.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome everyone to the Narrative Podcast. And I'm your host, Halsey Allen. I hope you had an amazing week. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome everybody new currently that may be listening to this after I post it. So let's get right to it. For all the new people, my new narrators already know what my podcast is about, what type of content to expect. But for everyone else unfamiliar, I will break it down right now. So let's start at the top title. So my podcast is called The Narrative Podcast. And I titled that for the reason, basically is my answer to the mainstream media. I feel, in my opinion, that they weave a false narrative about original people and original culture. I'll come back to the original part in a minute. But basically, the mainstream media, they just depict our people and our culture in a negative light. And they do this intentionally, mostly for financial gain, to sell news. But then also, they do this to, basically hoard all the tangibles and resources for themselves by means of propaganda and weaving a false narrative against our people and our culture. And, basically, they just, how they depict us is they hyper criminalize our men, hypersexualize our women, and basically make us look like, appear as disenfranchised, destitute, and just a really lost people. And we know that's the complete opposite. We are nothing but that. And so on my platform, what I wanted to do is destroy these negative stereotypes by providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. As a matter of fact, my tagline for my podcast is The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. The way I destroy the negative stereotypes is provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So I want to showcase and highlight us excelling, being leaders in our community, being entrepreneurs, raising our children correctly, and just basically being the antithesis of everything you see in the media, on scripted reality television shows, movies, in literature, about the depiction of our people. So I just basically want to just always showcase us winning, always showcase us contributing to society and the human experience here on Earth. So now that you got a gist of what the Narrative Podcast, I go back to the original thing. So recently, I had an epiphany about the word black. When you look in the dictionary, matter of fact, let's do that now. Let me just break out my trusty dusty Googles. Just a second. Black definition. Okay, so right when you go into most dictionaries, especially the Mediterranean ones, especially Oxford dictionaries, you'll often see negative connotations surrounding the word black. And this was intentionally done. So I'm just breaking out my Google as an adjective of the very darkest color, owning the absence of or complete absorption of light, the opposite of white. And they give an example: black smoke, synonyms: dark, pitch black as pitch, pitch dark, jet black, inky, cold, black, blackish. And then the second example: of any human group having dark skin color, especially of Africa or Australian Aboriginal ancestry. And then you go down, scroll down: black adolescents of Jamaican descent, characterized by tragic or disastrous events, despair or pessimism. Synonyms: tragic, disastrous, calamitous, cataclysmic, ruinous, devastating, fatal, wretched, woeful, grievous. And I can keep going on. And then it goes, black or pigment. And then it gives, more negative things: black, dirty, soiled, not of God. So essentially, the way they set this English language up, they knew what they were doing when they, titled our people black. All these negative, pseudonyms, antonyms, like parts of speech, adjectives, nouns, verbs, and all that. They're all negative. But then when you scroll over to white, they're all positive. So in a sense, on my platform, I believe in the power of words. I believe, whatever you, speak into the universe, it manifests into reality. So if you're looking at the word black in reference to our people, you can look at the strife, the suffering, the long suffering, just the absolute lack of resources, absolute lack of progression. Well, not absolute lack of progression. We are progressing. That's what I do on my platform, is prove that we're progressing. But you get the idea. That's why I've decided to just stop saying the word black on my platform and instead replace it with original. Because original is a scientifically proven term. There's all kinds of positivity surrounding the word original, the first, and it's perfect, and it's the perfect thing to describe us as a people. Because we were the original man and the original woman upon this planet. There wasn't not a corner of the globe that we didn't already originally inhabit. We basically mothered and fathered civilization. We taught every civilization on the entire planet how to survive. We educated every civilization everywhere in the world. They got everything from us, but we got little to no credit in the history at all, in world history, not just in American history, in world history, for all our contributions we gave to early civilization. We made tools. We had the first learning institutions. We created the first books. We created paper, soap, perfume and cologne. People weren't even properly bathing themselves before they got around us. So, original carries a lot more weight than black. And that's why I refer to our people as original on my platform. Some exceptions are if I'm reading an article and it says black in it, I'm not going to replace, black with original. So I'm trying to break myself of the habit of saying black, but I will probably say black every once in a blue moon to try to, cement my point or, just, clarify whom I'm speaking about. So I hope that clears it up about the original. Now, disclaimer before I dive into the content, my platform is monetized. So you most likely will experience ad rolls during my broadcast. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. I do my lives weekly. I never know what day weekly I'm gonna do. I broadcast live during the week on the weekdays. This is the normal full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. So, ad rolls will occur sometimes in mid-speech. So I'm apologizing up front right now for those. And then also another thing to get you ready for before I dive into the content. I broke my podcast up into sections. The reason for me doing this is to basically save time. I wanted my content to be, to resonate and to also keep myself from bouncing around from subject to subject because I wanted just, a nice fluid motion here on my podcast, just everything to flow nicely. I have speaking points on each section. So, to keep me from veering off putting, because when I first started doing it, I just used to talk and talk and talk. I didn't really have a point. My numbers didn't really go up. But then when I broke it down into sections, I noticed, more people was listening, partially, basically to break the content down and make what I'm saying more digestible. And so it'll resonate with you longer. And my overall takeaway I want people to understand is the importance of posting positive content. That's why I call my core listeners my narrators, because we all have the power, the ability to create or change the narrative simply by controlling the content we post online. We walk around with these, miniature content creation devices, aka the cell phone, in our pockets, all day long, wherever you keep yours at. And we can just control what we're posting online, because like it or not, these days you're judged about the content that you post online. So if you're always posting gang culture, drug culture, dysfunction or any type of ratchetness online, people are going to associate you with that content online. So I'm not saying be a stick in the mud and not post something you think is funny or hilarious, or, you don't have to be Mr. or Mrs. Moral Oral, but definitely just watch the content that you post. People outside of our culture that's never been exposed to us, kind of tend to just basically associate us with the frames of reference that they've been given. And all the frames of reference that they've been given are negative frames of reference. So it's up to each and every one of us to, put positive frames of reference in the atmosphere. Ultimately, we cannot control what somebody thinks about us. If somebody just has their mind made up to not like original people or original culture, there's no amount of positive frames of reference that can control their thought process. So it's not my design or mission to, change what they think about us, but it's just more me telling our story correctly. History has shown us if you do not tell your own story, you will have your story told for you. And that's what's currently going on about our people and our culture is the inherent, misrepresentation of us and, them telling our story the way they want to tell it. And they want to depict us in the most negative light as possible to make us seem inferior and to, make themselves feel and look superior. Now, I don't believe no one human race is superior than another by any means, but there's a lot of things we do and we've done and contributed, but having not got any credit for it. So it's just my mission on, my platform to, showcase and highlight us at our absolute best, us winning. What I don't do is slander, negative gossip about brothers and sisters. I don't drag people. I don't roast people. I try not to roast people. I have, and, I'm working on it. But the ultimate takeaway I want for this experience to be 110% positive. Basically, any type of pushback or criticism I give is, never done with malice, never done to, tear somebody down. My platform is all about edifying and uplifting us as a people. But I will, in a commentary, address one of us that got us looking and sounding crazy before the world. And, pretty much everything else I just unpack from our perspective, tell our story on our own terms and conditions. That's basically what my podcast is all about. So yeah, like I said, I got all my content broken down in sections. I will describe each section as I come to them. All my sections have speaking points, just, for fluidity purposes, just to keep everything flowing nicely. It's also my goal to, have everything wrapped up within an hour's time so you can digest it and it'll stay with you and resonate with you. All right, so now that you got the full gist of it, I'm going to dive right on into the content. And my first section is the promo section. So in this section, what I'm doing is offering any original people that own or operate their own business the opportunity for free promotion via my platform, meaning, I'll plug your business if you reach out to me for absolute free. And my methodology behind doing that is to help keep the original dollar circulating in the original community. Just basically doing my part to help us. Also, to the types of businesses that I would like to promote are ones that, pay into the community that they're rooted in, either have their own nonprofit organization, pay into a nonprofit organization, or, donate business, their product or services to the community that they are rooted in, meaning hiring their own, giving back to the less fortunate and our children and our elderly. And anybody, like I already said less fortunate, like homeless people or hungry people or, that type of thing. So, if you would need or would like free promotion, please hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. Body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service. The more specific you are, the better sales pitch I can give your business. So, because consumers want to know all that stuff. So about yourself, tell me a little bit about your educational background. How did you, come up with the idea for your business product or service? How did you, find yourself, being a business owner? Like, what's your motivation behind that? If you have a business module, include your business module, your core values, all that stuff. If you got a brick and mortar location, tell me the address, hours of operation, capacity, how much could your building hold? Do you rent it out for functions? Um, charitable causes, just, anything to help me help you. All right, so that's it for the promotional section. I think you get the idea of that. And then next on is my contest promotion section, where I'm promoting a contest I came up exclusively for my podcast. It's called the Chew On This podcast, and what this is a incentive reward system. It's to incentivize the continuation of listening to my podcast to my current listening audience, and then also to draw in some new listeners. You get something for listening to me just by entering this contest. To enter the contest, hit me up at the same exact email address I just gave you for the free promotion. The way I'm separating the two is through the subject bars. So for the contest, just hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, and in the subject bar, type chew on this and then slash or dash, which is ever more convenient for you, shopping while black. And if you don't want to type shopping while black, type SWB in all caps, body of the email, share your most recent shopping while black experience along with your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, which is a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And then your address, of course, so I know where to send it. And then also, what is your favorite snack? Tell me the brand, the name, the flavor, all that. And the reason why I'm doing this contest again is, is basically an incentive for this podcast, also to, encourage listener participation. It just shows me, gives me a glance at my demographic, the types of people that are listening to me, and a way for you to just interact with me until I get like a hotline, until I get make the full transition from audio platform to video, get a YouTube channel going on, you know what I mean, and then have my lives there, and y'all can be typing in the whatever. But until that happens, this audio platform is serving quite nicely. I am working on a hotline so I can start taking calls. It'll probably just be a sideline. And put out my phone number, get a sideline, just something outside of, my normal phone number, but to interact with my listeners. But anyway, another reason why I'm doing it is to, keep the conversation going on about how we're being treated by these retailers. I know the ultimate solution is to have our own, and we are progressing and moving forward. There's more and more states and here in the United States that are slowly becoming all original people owned and operated, but it's just not enough. It's not universal across the board yet here in the United States or abroad. And until it is, we're always going to encounter that. And I think the only way to really, change things like that is to, have an open dialogue about it. And that's why I'm doing the contest, is just an open dialogue, give you opportunity to get it off your chest, share your experience, and just keep the conversation going. So yeah, go ahead on and enter that contest. It's called the Chew on This contest. Hit me up at Passion Webmail, Poetic Passion .host. Subject bar, Chew on This /or - Shopping While Black, or SWB in all caps. Your most recent Shopping While Black experience. I caution you, I don't want to read a novel, so try to just give me a brief synopsis of what happened. I don't want to know, I don't want like a novel or an essay. Just just get to the meat of it. Keep it real brief as possible, no more than 6 paragraphs. Like, what was your experience? How did you know it was racially motivated? That's the type of thing I'm looking for. And then how did you follow up? Did you file a lawsuit, or are you just not going back to the place ever? Then after that, make sure you include your mailing address, so I know where to send the snack, and then your preference, what type of snack do you want, name of it, all that specifics, and bam, there you got it. The Shopping While Black, the Chew on This contest. Yeah, no entry fee required, all free, all on me. I don't want anything from you, just for you to share your experience. All right. So now that we got that wrapped up, diving right on into the main content. This is called the Original People Highlight section. And in this section, I'm actually highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. In this section, what I'm attempting to do is to highlight and showcase the spirit of entrepreneurialism. The types of owners that started these business have little to no business experience, little to no education, little to no financial way they started the business. They just basically stepped out on faith, got sick and tired of being sick and tired, decided to do something about it, change their living experience, just want to work for themselves and be motivation, just motivate themselves and be an inspiration for the community. So they either family owned and operated, or they definitely hire their own. They pay into a nonprofit organization, or have their own nonprofit organization, and they also donate business products or services that they're selling to the community. They like to give back to the less fortunate, vocational skills training and all that, feed the hungry, do things for the homeless, etc., etc. Those are the types of things. And the last qualifying factor in the highlight section is, the businesses align up with my theme, and my current theme is the season of fall. Now, so having all said that, it's fall weather, and if you live in a 4-season state, you definitely want to kind of stay warm this time of year, because the weather is chilling out. I think it's the daylight savings time. It might be the end of daylight savings time, but anyway, day becomes night quicker. And it's just got this cool, crisp weather, and something seasonal that I know people do enjoy in this weather is tea, loose leaf tea. Tea's good for all around, but people highly consume tea around this type of time of year. Well, this and winter, but steep tea. I think winter is the cold brew tea, of course, because I mean hot brew tea in the winter, but I'm thinking like cold brew in the summer. Excuse me, cold brew in the summer, but you know around fall and winter, people are like steeping and brewing the hot tea. So this is the only tea I'm interested on this platform. We don't do no gossip. All right, but I do address sidebar. I do address current issues. It's not really gossiping. It's just like, but anyway. All right, I'm getting off putting. So these next couple of businesses that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section specialize in tea. They're owned and operated by original people. So starting off, my first business that I'll be highlighting today is called the Golden Flourish Tea Company. And its founder is Rachel Daly. She founded this business in 2015. Um, she is a native to Jamaica, grew up, born and raised, got the inspiration to start a holistic wellness facility by observing the women in her family and taking some inventory on herself. And what she noticed was the people in her family and her devoted so much time helping other people, they ended up neglecting their own needs. So this is what motivated her to start a health and wellness clinic, not a clinic, but like a I'm at a loss for words. Trying to think like a health and wellness. I'm trying to try to come up with something that doesn't sound too clinical, but basically a facility. All right. So she started her own health and wellness facility. That was its original incarnation, was a health and wellness facility. And she offered everything in the way of, self-care, promoting self-care. So like such as aromatherapy, massages, and then of course, the herbal teas for holistic remedies, just natural remedies for whatever is ailing your body and your mind. Somehow, through her, wellness journey, she decided to focus on the tea aspect, and now sells tea online. And that's how the Golden Flourish Tea came to be. All her products are all natural, herbal supplements. Just a second, I forgot to give the web address, and I forgot to record it in my notes, so I had to look that up. Sorry, y'all. So it's goldenflourish.co is the email address. And that's basically her story in a nutshell. You can go to her website and click on the About section, and it'll tell you a little bit about her journey. Now, on the website, it says she was born in Brooklyn, but that was the first bit of information from the source I got. It just said she was born and raised in Jamaica, in her health and wellness practice was in Jamaica. But anyway, So she's a wife and a mother. And then also all of her tea comes with health and wellness tips, how to, inspire mindful breathing and all that good stuff, and how to relax and how to meditate. She gives tips, for, self-care tips like hot baths and just things to keep you at ease and keep your mind at ease and keep your, mind and body in a total state of wellness. That's what she kind of fixates on. Yoga and all that good jazz. How to incorporate, a total, self care regimen. So that's really all to her business. It's an original woman-owned business. The article that I got it from says she pays into a lot of different charitable organizations. It did not list all the charitable organizations, but it definitely checked all my boxes for the highlight section. She creates jobs and she gives back. So give it up for Mrs. Daly and the Golden Flourish Tea Company. Oh, where are we at? Check. Okay, I'm still here. Am I? Yep, I'm still here. All right, and go on to our next tea company. This is Ivy's Tea Company, and the founder's name is Shanae Jones. Web address is drinkflyest.com, and she graduated from the Sky House Herbal School, and she's also a graduate of the Black Upstart Accelerated Boot Camp Training Program. Her fascination with tea started at an early age, having an immigrant mother and father. So her mother was, British in America by way of Great Britain, and her father was Jamaican. So she, growing up with tea was just a thing in her house. She started off as a nonprofit, just working at a nonprofit agency. She didn't really like that. So she just basically started coming up with different styles of tea and started selling them. I'm just giving you the streamlined version. Her background story is much more complex, but again, for time purposes, I'm just giving you the streamlined version of her story. It's much more to it. But essentially, that's how Ivy's Tea Company was born. What makes her tea unique is she uses it, she borrows heavily from hip hop culture, the music, the hip hop phrases. She's also a devout Christian. So when you go to her website, you will see, a lot of herbal teas and the herbal honeys. She basically does it from the just the health aspect of it as well. Basically, she wants it to normalize it. That's why she uses hip hop culture. to normalize, get people comfortable with drinking tea. And, if you're unless you're living under a rock, you know how polarizing the culture of hip hop is. So that's how she's approaching it, using hip hop to basically get people comfortable with the notion of, drinking tea to increase vitality, their overall, well-being, health, and wellness. I'm just take a second. I'm going to her website now so I can accurately tell you the areas she's focusing in on. Okay, that didn't do anything. Let me try it a different way. I don't know why it didn't just pop up like that when I put it in. All right, let me try it a different way. Okay. I wish I had Jeopardy music. It's just taking a little bit longer. I just don't. I want to provide you is like, you know, accurate information. If not, I just like move on to something else. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm on now. We're going to the about section. Okay. Well, I thought it would be like right on the. Okay, here goes. Okay. Okay, so it says right on when you get to the about section, Harvey's Tea Company is a pop culture and hip hop inspired holistic brand. Such as herbal infused teas with sweeteners for the culture. So she's basically coming up from the hip hop perspective of just making um, tea more trendy. And they do a lot of loose leaf teas, leaf herbal. Um, and her focal point about the herbal tea, the loose leaf tea is she's bringing the education and the knowledge part of it. So that's the hip hop element that she's borrowing from is the knowledge, the way they kind of mix the medicine in with it, make it entertaining, but then yet you're learning something as well. At least golden era hip hop was definitely. She's expanding the line. She also is coming up with another line called Trap Tea. Now I'm gonna punch that up to see what that's about. So it's on her website. This is just a different line. I did read another article, like they tried to basically steal her idea from her, but she ended up winning the rights in court. So there are like some other places. They got a brick and mortar locations that says Trap T, but that's not her. Um, I think the only thing I left out is she is a devout follower of the Christian faith. So she also has a lot of Christian products as well, like, merch with just things you say in like original people say in church. So like, probably like probably see some merch with some like printing like say that, just stuff you say in like church if you ever been to church. So definitely an entrepreneur. She pays into a lot of nonprofit organizations. Um, she's a philanthropist. She is devoted to our cause, our plight, providing opportunities for people to be entrepreneurs and, get afforded the same opportunity she got afforded by attending that boot camp. So, like, that's how she's utilizing her business basically to forward it back, pay it forward to, future entrepreneurs, specifically targeted towards women because she is a woman. Specifically, I think I said Pacific. I know the difference. Like, I think it was just a slip of the tongue, y'all. But yeah. So she expanded her line. Gives back to the community. All about our cause. All about knowing the how one dimensional it is for us and trying to create inclusion for us and provide opportunities. She's all about that. Um, so definitely go support her brand because she's, when you're supporting a brand that supports the community, you're supporting us as well. Um, and you'll learn something because that's what her brand is set up for. You'll learn something about tea you didn't know. She's putting the information out, the benefits of, a holistic lifestyle. And definitely support that. So give it up for Shanae Jones and Ivy's Tea Company, aka Drink Flyest. All right. So now it's my one of my favorite sections of the Narrative Podcast. This is the Spotlight section. In this section, I will be spotlighting a prominent figure in the entertainment industry from all genres, acting. Usually it's an actor, an actress, recording artists, athletes, comedian, athlete. Did I already say athlete? If I didn't, athlete. If I did, athlete again. Public figure, just basically somebody in the eye of the public that has a platform and represents us well, does philanthropy, speaks on our cause unapologetically, provides answers, or just somebody that carries and conducts themselves really well and is an example of us making it. So that is what that section is about. And like I said, every time when I introduced my spotlight section, nobody online was spotlighting anyone until I added a spotlight section to my podcast. And now, when you look online and Google anything and on the YouTubes and the TikToks, now everybody all of a sudden got a spotlight section. And I'm not mad at it at all. It's actually, makes me happy that so many people are listening, despite what my stats may say. Because, imitation is the best form of flattery. I'm definitely flattered because there's so many people with spotlight sections now. So, it makes me feel like I'm walking my purpose, because my purpose is to uplift and edify our people and normalize us being normal. Not always portrayed as savages, not always online dragging your brother, dragging your sister, kicking dirt on their names. If you can't, if you disagree with them, you want to get online and say something slanderous. And if you can't think of anything true to say, then you get to making up lies just for clicks and views and money. So, I guess I created a trend where we're giving each other roses now and speaking highly of one another, instead of always, dragging each other through the mud. But anyway, I digress. On to my spotlight section of the day. This is a man that, I grew up watching on television. He's always spoken highly of our people and has always has, built so many platforms, to showcase us and highlight us in a positive light. He normalized intellectual conversation, creating panels where, we can have discussions about our issue, about our plight, and showing we can agree to disagree civilly. His platform was some of the first of its kind, where we was having intellectual debates about, politics and social issues. Just like all his platforms has been, intellectually stimulating and showcasing that we are capable of intellectual thought. And we like seeing things, challenge us mentally in a good way, just to inspire critical thinking and not just go with the programming, and keeping the conversation going and creating open dialogue. So the person that I'm speaking, none other than is Mr. Tevis Smiley. So he was born in 1964 in Gulfport, Mississippi, and later moved to Brook Hill, Indiana. I'm not going to just run down his complete resume and early life because it's really, really long and extensive. So like I said, for time purposes, I'm just going to keep it short and to the point. The reason why I'm giving him the spotlight, like I said, basically he created so many platforms where, he showcased us and highlighting, putting together these intellectual panels and having, our brightest in the intellectual community, chime in on, a wider range of, issues. So amongst we seen the Dick Gregory's, we seen the Cornel West on his show, we seen a lot of people. Now there was there was a few when he had his show on BT where some heated intellectual discussions, but for the most part, everybody civilly agreed to disagree when they couldn't like find a common ground about something. But just basically how to carry and conduct yourself with decorum, speak learned, and show you're intelligent, show you read books. That's what his platform was really kind of all about, getting the conversations going. Like he was getting conversations going before getting the conversation going was a thing. Like he created that thing. He started out in radio, and then after he got his show on BT, as the rest they say was a wrap, he went on to produce television and got his own thing. I can't really say, I didn't do my Googles to see what he's up to now, but he's still, a big mover and shaker in the industry. He has some I think he got let go for a alleged claim of sexual misconduct, which I don't believe is true. But even if it was, it still doesn't take away from who he is and what he brought to the table. For us, for our people. If it is true, everybody makes mistakes, But anyway, I just respect him for being the intellectual person he is. He definitely impacted my upbringing because when he had a show on BT, I used to watch that as a youth. So, let's give it up for Tevis Smiley. All right, so moving right on along. This is the health and wellness section. In this section, what I'll be doing is discussing, health and wellness, giving you tips to pursue and maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. The reason why I feel I need to do this is because we are so at the target of many diseases, because they're just basically sitting up in here in the laboratory, mixing up things that, directly conflict with our unique genetic makeup, either like disrupt it, distort it, break it down, or completely destroy our unique molecular structure. Speaking, of course, as our melanin, excuse me. So there's that. And then also, like I've already started my show with, the way how they've weaponized this media to, try to manipulate and control how we view each other, how we view ourselves, try to break us down mentally with all these negative images and stigmas being bombarded, they're bombarding us with, and just putting us under heavy mental strain and duress with the news the way they have it. And it'll always register that we're killing each other at disproportionate numbers. I, like many of us, are tired of always seeing grieving mothers on television crying because their child got killed over something stupid. And it seems like it only happens in our community, but in the reality, it happens in all communities. Caucasian people kill Caucasian people, Asian people kill Asian people, original people kill original people. But how they got it set up is just like, it's a constantly everyday thing, and there just seems like they're pushing certain areas of the globe, rough neighborhoods, like it's rough in certain parts of, Michigan, Detroit, and it's rough in like Chicago and LA and all that. But, you know, they distort the numbers, they distort what we're seeing and what we're hearing, and this causes mental duress. And the mental duress weakens your immune system, and you don't want that. In this time and age we're living in, with all these, airborne pathogens and things you can contract airborne, let alone, blood contact with and saliva and all that. So basically, what I'm saying in this section is to stay armored up by providing health and wellness tips to, keep yourself nice and healthy and, living your best life. And in this section, what I usually do is give the health benefits of fruit, veggie, herb, root extract, elixir that you can take to keep yourself, healthy and active, or physical exercise, or, something on the mental side of it, mindful breathing, yoga, meditation, metaphysical stuff, just anything to improve your overall health and wellness. That's what I'm doing in this section. So today's health and wellness tip is going to be super short, but it should just be like, a common sense thing, but, not enough of us are doing it, and it's really showing. But the importance of adequate sleep, because we're living in this go society right now. I think a common hip hop phrase is grinding. I'm on my grind. Everybody's on the grind, but what they're not doing is scheduling the time for themselves. They're staying up all night working on projects. They're staying up all night on that computer looking for stuff, extracurricular activities. I don't judge nobody. That's between, your browser history and your four walls, whatever you're doing on that computer. Up all night watching television, binge watching shows, whatever. But in this, you must create a space where you are resting. Because if you don't, you will literally wear yourself out and possibly inhabit a early grave by being sleep deprived. So you must set aside some time to get accurate rest and efficient sleep. You might have to hurt some people's feelings. Like, what you doing? Hey, man, I'm asleep. You have to recharge your battery. Your brain is electric. Fires electronic synapses to the rest of the body while you're asleep. Your brain's in motion even when you aren't. So if you're not getting adequate sleep, you're going to have poor performance when you wake up. And the poor performance doesn't stop with just, moving slower. It also, slows down the signals to the rest of the body. So your metabolism is going to slow down. Your digestion system is going to slow down. You're going to have mental glitches, brain fog, or I just had a brain fart. Yeah, I just had a brain fart because you're not getting adequate rest. You're forgetting things. So this opens up the door for things like Alzheimer's, other mental diseases. At the core cause of it is not enough sleep, is things like schizophrenia, Um, and you know, I already said Alzheimer's. Sound like I got Alzheimer's, huh? I just got through saying it. But learning disabilities, all kinds of symptoms you diagnosed with. Some of that is from not receiving enough adequate sleep, ADHD, um, just anything that requires concentration, anything, dealing with your depth perception, all comes from, sleeping properly. And we all got a sleep number. It's up to you to do your own due diligence and find out how many hours of sleep you require to, regenerate your brain cells, to get oxygen to the brain. So you have to be sleeping, you know. You got to get you some a good night's rest. Cause that helps with problem solving. We often go to religion and just, think God's just gonna fix everything. We don't gotta do nothing on our end. But most of the things we get ourselves into, we can get ourselves out of it if we just stopped and thought. And what's impeding your thought process is your lack of sleep. Because as the old age saying goes, sleep on it. It'll become clear to you in the morning what you need to do. When you're stuck on a problem, when you're perplexed about something, get you some sleep. Now, the thing that might be impeding your sleep is your diet. You got to watch the times of day that you're eating. You got to watch what you're eating. Certain foods make your insulin levels spike. And when your insulin levels go up, this makes it hard for you to sleep. So you have to, watch your intake of food, watch your sugars. But above all, get you a good amount of sleep. Your skin will be more clear. You will think more clearly. You will move quicker, physically. Your reflexes will get better. Your memory will be better. And you will be less hostile because, most crimes are committed by people in a sleep-deprived state, people that don't sleep at night. They up all day in the streets, going on 2 and 3 hours of sleep. They cranky and mean all the time. So just that's the health and wellness tip of the day. Sleep, get you enough of it. I did not mean to applaud that. That was an accident. I just grazed the sound effect button, but I guess it worked out. But anyway, so that's the final word on the health and wellness section is sleep. All right. So on to my next section. This section is called my speaking point of the day. And in my speaking point of the day, I usually address things that are currently trending in the news, either in our own community or, globally. And if it's globally, how does it affect us? If it's a global thing, I will tell our perspective on it, unpack it, whatever the thing is from our perspective. If it's something happening within our own community, I definitely address it with our news, our inside business. or if I don't have any one of those, just it might be an observation I made about our people. A thought that just crossed my mind, something we need to work on. And when I say we, I definitely mean self included. As I'm far from perfect, and I don't ever want to project a false image or a false narrative of being perfect, or like I'm super righteous brother over here, because I definitely mess up. And I think today is one of those days where where I'm kind of at a loss, and I'm just probably going to just, you know, fly by the seat of my pants on this one. I think I will keep on hammering the point of, it's not going to be my speaking point every single week, but every time I get a chance to incorporate it into the end of this year, is the reparations and why we need it and why we should keep on lobbying and campaigning for it. Now is the midterm elections. It's perfect time to keep the conversation going. So don't ever miss an opportunity. If you got Twitter fingers, or if you like posting stuff on Instagram, Facebook, remember to post things about reparations, especially if you are foundational. Because there's many types of us now. I mean, a lot of us just didn't come on slave ships, but those are the ones that say it's going to get the reparations. But we definitely got to get the conversation going and just keep on putting it out in the atmosphere. So like I said in my live on Wednesday, I'm beseeching all entertainers, anybody that has a following, anybody has a large platform, even like if you're a comedic content creator, like all you do is do comedic skits, you know what I mean? This is the time for y'all to speak. Because even comedians, from time to time, they got to get serious, and this is serious and something we all need. It's not a loan. It's not a handout. This is a debt owed to us. And if we don't speak up on it, we ain't never going to get it. Now, why is now the perfect time? Because with technology, with this computer, it makes information more rapidly. We can do like FaceTiming. We can have like panel discussions and, just get the information and the word out more quickly. So if you can have a viral moment for setting yourself on fire, or doing something like an insipid mall prank, or doing a goofy TikTok dance or challenge, like you can definitely spread the word about how important it is that the original people of this planet receive, compensation, some compensatory damages for slavery. And so I'm also beseeching like our immigrant brothers and sisters, because, you guys are benefiting from it too. You're benefiting from your education. You're definitely benefiting from it, from our contributions. If you own your own business, you're most definitely benefiting from it. So don't ever get to feeling yourself so much that you posting online, didn't nobody do nothing for me. I did it on my, all on my blood, sweat, and tears. And I just got up off of my backside and just opened this business, and I didn't ask nobody for nothing. Well, I hate to break your bubble and crap in your cornflakes, brother, sister, my immigrant brother, my immigrant sister. If our ancestors didn't make the sacrifices we did, there would be no America to immigrate to. And that ain't just for my own brothers and sisters, it's for everybody, from Ireland, from Poland, from wherever. We built this country. We built this country. All the people in the history books that said they invented something, all these people that getting all this false credit, all stole from us. We built it. Like the slave masters took everything, all our contributions. They rewrote history to the point that's all they're trying to do is give us. We were slaves. When in reality we built this country, and the America we now know could not exist if it wasn't for our contributions to it. I mean, for God's sakes, Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C., our nation's birthplace. And if you look closely at the building structures, what does most of it resemble? What does most of it resemble? So he's leaving a trail of breadcrumbs where he got, his inspiration from. He got his inspiration from home. You got pyramids in Washington, D.C., Potomac in Washington, D.C., the Nile River. That's where he got the inspiration for that. I can go on and on and on about everything we've done for this country. All the inventions we made that made our life easier, that we utilize today. But the most important thing that we need the reparations for is the economic infrastructure that was created off the slave industry. Is still prevalent and exists today. So that debt from all the way back then, pretty much all the gold we have in the treasury came from the slave trade. So there's still like everything, all this minted money, all that came from the slave trade. All these industries, all these varied industries still exist today. All those principles still exist today, and we need financial compensation for that. For everything we got endured and inflicted, because you see, slavery never ended. It just took a different form. It still exists today. It's just a different form of it. We just ain't in the cotton fields getting whipped no more. That's all it is. And we can date outside of our race. That's the only perk we got. So I'm behooving anybody that wants change, that says they want change, and they want us to all sit down at the table of brotherhood and just be brothers and sisters in the human race. Then I say to you, you got to want for your brother and your sister what you want for yourself. So if you're sitting up there and you're a homeowner and you're not on any form of public assistance, don't you want the same for your brother? Because see, we once had our own cities. We once had our own businesses, but we integrated it. The powers that be tricked us into integrating. And now we have nothing. Everybody got compensatory damages for things that happened to them. But we didn't get any. Native Americans received contributions, and they're not the original natives. These are the Eurasians sitting on these tribal councils dictating who and who is not native. Like if somebody, a brother or sister, like, hey, I'm Cherokee, I'm this, I'm that. You got to prove it. Come with the paperwork. Good luck with that. Like I said, we the original man and we the original woman of the planet. So we was already here in America's first. But yeah, Asians, Irish, they got compensated something from our government. Italians got compensated something from our government. And let's talk about it. Our Jewish got compensated from our government, and it didn't even happen in America. It happened in Nazi Germany. So if anybody owes them anything, it would be Germany. They went through what they went through in Germany. They didn't go through it in here in America. Japanese, they got compensatory damages. Their government incited war. They bombed the U.S. at Pearl Harbor, not the other way around. The U.S. didn't bomb them at Pearl Harbor. They bombed the U.S. at Pearl Harbor. But our government saw fit to award the survivors of that incident compensatory damages. Meanwhile, we've been sitting here in America all this time. They put us on auctioning blocks like animals. They used our babies for alligator bait. They would sit up there and emasculate our men, like bend them over and sodomize them in front of their wives. Since you want to say, oh, well, that's slavery. Now let's go out of slavery. Let's go into the civil rights era. Fire hoses, crosses burning in the front yard, people getting drugged by horses, getting pulled off public transportation just because they was black. All the jobs that got denied people from then all the way up until now, just because they're black. Learning institutions. Let's talk about the wealth gap. Let's talk about it. Why it's never going to close unless we get the reparations. Because all these other people that have gotten compensated from our government benefit from us being where we're at financially. But if we want change in this world, we're going to have to stand up and make a change. And everybody has to use their voice and use their platforms to get the reparations, because they keep on weaving a false narrative about if they gave it to us, they would bankrupt the country. And that's just an outright lie. It would not. So we need tangibles. We need the monthly check. We need the free education. We need the free housing. We need the land. We need the tax breaks for starting a business. Like if you already went to school and graduated and got degrees, we shouldn't have to pay nothing back. That's not crazy. It's not far-fetched. That's not outside the realm of possibility. That's not nothing foolish to expect. It's just basic human dignity. Our basic human rights have been alienated from the time this country was built all the way up until now. In every single election term that we even say the R word, they spin it, they flip it, they deflect it, they try to loop us in with other minority groups and give us nothing exclusively just for us. Oh, the Negro College Fund, financial aid and Pell Grant. That's what y'all gonna say. That's what we get. All right, so I'm off the reparations kick. What's up? What else is going on in the world today? I felt like I need to talk about. I guess I don't. I guess it was just a reparations kick. I think I'm gonna be on that for a little bit. It's not. I promise it's not going to be my speaking point for every single full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. I guess it was real heavily on my mind today as I thought more and more about it. As I'm seeing the conversation open up, I'm seeing more and more like discussion groups and people actually doing the footwork to, write the legislators, write the congressmen, and do the rallies and, get the conversation going and have the powers that be sit down and try to hash this out once and for all. So I guess that's what got put on my mind, why that got put on my mind. All right. So I think I'm going to just stick a pin in it there. Again, for time purposes, and I try not to exceed over an hour. And I know I definitely went over 20 minutes just on that subject. So here's my final section for the Narrative Podcast. My final thought of the day. And my final thought of the day is remember. Remember. Malcolm X once said, let me get I'm gonna punch it up so I can get the direct quote. All right. Don't be in a hurry to condemn because he doesn't do what you do or think or as fast. I don't think that's the whole quote, but basically, I'm gonna paraphrase it. He basically was saying you didn't always know what you know now. It was a time that you didn't know, and so never forget that. Because a lot of times when we get quote unquote knowledge, we get to acting all, superior and thinking, and look down on other people because they didn't know. They don't know what you know or what you believe you know. And a lot of times, especially in the conscious community, it comes into I'm smarter than you thing instead of like the whole purpose of the community is to offer solutions, not to condemn people and air people out and appear to make them look stupid on camera. That's the whole purpose. We're all on the same team. We're trying to get answers. We're trying to share the knowledge. We're trying to build. We ain't trying to sit up there and condemn my brother and condemn my sister and make them feel small. We got a common enemy, and we're trying our best to, come up with the answers. That's what the community's supposed to be for. But to add on to my point about, remembering, you also need to remember when you were young, when dealing with our youth, when you see them out here wilding out in the streets and being disrespectful and, carrying and conducting themselves in an inappropriate manner. You got to remember that you once was a child too. And so, like, you got to check your energy. You got to check your tone on how you talk to our young people. And don't be so quick to judge them. And actually, you can learn a whole lot from them because they have the technology and the information at the touch of a button. Like that's a thing for them. Like any new operating system that comes out, they can have that mastered in like less than a week. Like they can like literally just read the instructions and they know how to do the coding. They know how to do like all this tech stuff. But on the social end of it, as smart and intelligent they are, they still need us as elders. In approaching our youth, we shouldn't talk down to them. Instead, we should get on their level, admire from afar, and realize that they are just mirror images of us, mirror images of our past. So everybody's complaining about the youth. They crazy, they killing themselves. So who's to blame for the youth in this current condition? We dropped the ball somewhere as elders. They're acting like this as a direct result of our actions from not doing what we were supposed to do. So the Xers, we got to take responsibility. The baby boomers, we got to take responsibility. I don't know what generation is older than the baby boomers, but it's y'all's fault too. So we definitely need to be more understanding when we come to our youth. Try to extend ourselves because they need our sage knowledge. Even if you feel like you don't know anything in life, tell them something positive. Just be that person to have a good morning or smile and wave. Be the smile and wave person if you don't feel you have something that they can grasp from you. But they're lost and they need something. What they don't need is finger pointing. What they don't need is criticism. What they don't need is you hopping online talking about how crazy they are and disrespectful they are, when in reality, you used to be exactly as they are now. They got everything that they're doing from emulating how you used to act. So I'll stick a pin in it there. That was my final thought of the day. Thanks for listening to the Narrative Podcast. I will have another full broadcast episode for you next week. Make sure you tune in regularly to check me out for my live episodes. I never know what days and what times I'm going to go live. So you just got to tune in regularly. During the weekday, I go live one time a week. I might switch it up and start doing 2 or 3. We'll see. In my lives, what I do is I share article information, just positive news that comes across my feed, because again, trying to reinforce that point of the importance of sharing positive information, absorbing positive information. And these articles are just basically, headlines of redemption, community involvement, community activism, entrepreneurialism, scholastic achievements, and humanitarianism, and just basically us looking good, and just our essence in a positive light. Those are all the types of articles I share on my live feed. And then also I deliver commentary as well about any, things that's currently trending in our world or directly in our community. And I already told you why, to control the narrative. So, because the media have us looking and sounding crazy. So I unpack whatever is going on in the world from our perspective. So yeah, like I said, thanks for listening. Please support my podcast by downloading this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And like I said, tune in to me wherever you get your podcast from live on the days that I'm live. And how you won't miss that is by subscribing to my viewer YouTube channel, Halsey Allen, and click that subscribe button and, download or the subscribe button and, hit the bell, the notification button so you'll never miss me when I'm live, because this audio platform broadcasts directly to YouTube when I'm live. Then also follow me on Twitter, Halsey Allen, as well, because it also broadcasts directly to Twitter when I'm live. So that's how you don't miss me when I'm live on Narrative Podcast. The biggest way to support is download the episodes. Hit the download button on the Narrative Podcast. And make sure it's hosted by me, so you're downloading the correct one, Halsey Allen, because there's a whole lot of different podcasts titled The Narrative Podcast, but mine is the only official one. Like, I'm official. I don't know what them other narrative podcasts people was just talking about, but I'm official like a whistle. They that gas. Also, another way to support me so I can grow my platform and branch out and do other things, I got a personal poetry blog titled Halsey's Poetry Corner. It's on www.mrhalseysblogs.com. And it's on blogger.com, powered by Adam. And the best way you can support me in that is just basically share all my poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner on all your platforms, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your TikTok, YouTube, Tumblr, WordPress, whatever you got, just share, Halsey's Poetry Corner poems. And, that'll earn me a little drippy drip. And I funnel that back into growing my platform, buying better equipment, getting me some guests, and just branching out, doing more stuff. I'm for the people. I'm talking that positive content, basically normalizing being normal, having us looking and sounding good, and, just building us up, not tearing us down. That's what the Narrative Podcast is all about. That's what the Narrative Podcast experience is all about. To normalize being normal, not engage in self-destructive, retrogressive behavior. Just building up and edifying and celebrating us. And that's what I'm trying to encourage all of us to do, is celebrate your brother and your sister on your timeline. Now, I'm not saying be perfect. Like, if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. But at the same time, don't use your dislike of your brother or your sister as an opportunity to drag them all up and down social media. Just if you don't like somebody, just like Get cool on them. Don't say nothing to them. Don't go around them, but don't drag them all over, social media. Well, that's my time. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been another episode of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast, and be sure to tune in regularly so you don't miss a live. The Narrative Podcast, Halsey Allen, signing off, and it's like that.
I'm gonna set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.